What's going on? We are back with another keyboard unboxing, first look feature, whatever you want to call it. I have yet to open this. I've done very little homework, so you're kind of going to be seeing it for the first time as I do as well. This is the Kzzi, is how I would say it, Kzzi K98 Pro. This is a compact full-size board. Let's get into it. Packaged well, that's always a plus to see. I love the keyboards that come with these little plastic dust covers. That's always much appreciated by me as well. So the generic switch puller we've all come to know and probably not love. And then just your standard black USB to USB-C cable. Nothing too groundbreaking there. Set those aside for now. The instructions in a large pamphlet style. Nice. Nothing really else in the box. I'm going to go ahead and throw that aside. Little plastic dust cover if you're someone that keeps a lot of keyboards. And here we go with the reveal. Wow. Super, super clean design. Side printed, shine through, I guess side legend shine through keycaps in a gray and black gradient, which looks real nice. I do like the kind of two-tone colorway on the dial around here. The case is also kind of a two-tone, and it's got this really nice faux carbon fiber plate. It is not real carbon fiber, but it looks, from what I can tell, it's not real. It doesn't look real to me. You can't actually see the fibers, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. We'll call it a carbon fiber plate back there. Nice little touch, two-stage flip up feet, and then rubber feet as well. I really like the kind of monotone gradient colorway of the board with the darker grays against the lighter gray and then the black of the top case. Nice touch there. Got your little USB there. Is it magnetic? It is. That's always good. And then you've got your USB-C plug over here on this side and some little Allen keys holding that plate on, it looks like. Profile looks pretty nice. That knife out of the frame. Profile looks good. Looks pretty basic, your cherry profile or whatever you want to call it. Get a little better look at the side shine through legends, which are quite clear. I really like the gradient keycaps. I think that's a really nice touch. We'll get an unplugged in sound test done real quick because I'm curious to see how it sounds before we start popping caps off and look at the switches. So let's go ahead and get that checked out. Here is a mouse click just to give you something to compare it to. Sounds really good. Feels good too. Whatever switches these are, they've got a great feel to them, and the space bar is nice and snappy and has a good sound to it, but isn't very solid and springs back up well. So whatever stabilizers are on this are doing their thing. Okay, so just wanted to give you a little bit closer look at the board and the keycaps themselves. Like I said, I do really like that this gradient gray pattern and the monotone, I guess, grays and blacks of the board itself. My only concern with boards like this, and this, it's like a satin or almost matte black finish on the plastic, I guess, frame, housing, whatever you want to call that, is that it will show scratches pretty easily, which these two here are a lot easier to see on camera, and with my two bright studio lights shining on it, it's a lot more noticeable. And also, I will note that a lot of times when people such as myself get products sent out to review and test, at times we get sent boards that may not have been destined to the public, or boards that have things such as this. I assume this was a defect that they sent out for testing, because it's got a little arrow sticker that points to whatever this is. It looks like they put the screw in here, or started to, which should be in there. And that's also explains the scratch right there. So don't expect yours to be like that when you buy one, because I would assume that they take a little bit better care of the boards that they're selling, basically. But it is true, a lot of times creators such as myself do get sent out either prototypes before something's actually released and finalized, or tester boards and that kind of thing. So that's not something I'm really going to cry about. I just wanted to kind of point it out because you're bound to see it regardless. So now I'm going to get this thing plugged in. We'll check out some of the RGB. We'll see how bright the site legends are. I haven't looked at the instructions at all, so we'll see what this little thing does. We'll check out the knob and that kind of stuff, and we'll get back to it. Okay, so I've got it connected to my computer. We switched it over to my desk so I can get it plugged up without having to go find a really long cable. Anyway, the backlight shine through is pretty bright. It looks good. I have two really bright studio lights on right now, so it's kind of hard to tell how bright it is. Then I've got it set on blue. It's of course got all the different colors and RGB effects you've come to expect. I won't get into those, but just know there's a ton of them, all different kinds of multi-layers, multi-colors, and that kind of thing. So tons of variety in the RGB. Something worth mentioning is this little light bar right up here is also user changeable, so you can set the color independently of all the rest of the lights, which in my personal opinion is a big plus, because I've had some boards that have a similar indicator light bar like that you can't change. And then if you want it to be all blue and that's rainbow, it just looks kind of funky. So lots of options there. This scroll wheel here is how you change the input mode. It's on USB wired at the moment. This is a triple mode keyboard, so it also has Bluetooth and then the 2.4 Wi-Fi as well. And that's easy to change there. I assume this can also be assigned to be volume and that type of stuff, because you press it in to change the various modes. And then I'm assuming that with their software, you can probably also set that to be whatever you want. I don't have anything going right now to test the volume with, but it's a roller. We've seen them a million times. So there you have it. Looks pretty good. You heard the sound test and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and pop a couple of these off, and we'll take a look at the switches, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. These are the switches that you have your option between a Kale gaming switch and their own proprietary Kzzi Athena switch. This is the Kale, which is a linear. It's got 3.6 total travel, a 42 plus or minus 8 grams of actuation force. Actuation point is 1.2, and it's got a palm stem and a PC top case. They are pre-lubed. A very, very light factory lube. So it may benefit from lubing them yourself if you're one of those kind of people. Now, as far as the board goes, it does have sound foam, several layers of it. It says it's got bottom case and then a PET pad, and then PO cotton on top of that. PCB membrane tectoria, whatever that is. It looks like a thin sheet of plastic on their website, honestly. And then it's got an IXPE switch pad, another layer of PO cotton, and then the PC or polycarbonate positioning plate, and then the top case switches, blah, 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 blah. It is hot swappable, 5-pin hot swappability, decent switches that come on it. South-facing RGB, which is always a plus, especially with side-facing light-through legends like that. If you have these kind of legends and north-facing RGB, they don't hardly light up at all. So a big plus there. And yeah, that's the basic structure of it. One other thing worth mentioning that I kind of left off is that this is the K98 Pro, which is an upgraded version of a previous board of theirs. The major difference is this one has a lot lower latency. They reduced it down to about 1 millisecond for gaming purposes. So that's the Pro version with lower latency and a slightly updated design. The keyboard itself is a gasket mount. With a decent amount of flex, not the flexiest gasket mount I've ever tried, but also not the stiffest, so no problem there. Not a bad little board for right around $100.